Alistair McIntyre. I'm the project manager for Mount Stuart Trust. Well, Ambrismore is part of our Master Plan Phase 2. We had Master Plan Phase 1 where we built a prototype of one of these new builds just to see how it would fit into the landscape, the techniques that would need to be employed and the performance of the building. That proved to be quite successful. So Master Plan Phase 2 comprised 3 sites on the island. 2 sites were utilised for holiday lets, and Ambrismore, where we are just now, we identified for use as short tenancy for residential occupation. We found that the prototype was a very good performance as far as thermal insulation was concerned. It was very comfortable. We took the whole of that structure and the insulation and the design type, which we called the Bute house, just really because of the sort of the look of it. It fitted well into the environment, and we thought it would fit well into the landscape. And I think it has worked very well here. The addition of biomass came in probably a quarter of the way through the design process. Originally, we were looking at other sort of sustainable fuel sources like air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, etc. But we started to think bigger as far as the island was concerned, because we manage all the forestry on the island, and we started seriously looking at biomass, and we put in here a district heating system, so all 4 properties are heated from one biomass building, which is just located outside, and it's operated through wood chip. And the benefits to us is that we have a sawmill business, we have a fuel supply business, so it helps to stabilise the sort of workforce and workload at the sawmill.
Walked through the door, the warmth of the building hit you as soon as you walked out through the front doors into the cafe area, and then when you saw the podiatrist, the hairdresser, the facilities that were here, and when you move through into the tenants area and you see the beautiful hub area that they can use if they choose, and the activities that go on in the actual dining area where they use twice a day for their meals as well. They get their 2 courses at lunchtime, 2 courses in the evening, home cooked food, which they can use if they so choose. They don't have to come to that area. They have beautiful, extensive flats with all the white goods inside. They're extremely large, they're all wheelchair friendly, and they have access to carers. We have 2 outdoor areas. We have the stunning garden terrace that the tenants use for their afternoon tea parties and for their afternoon wine parties. We've also got the stunning garden area that's wheelchair friendly, and it's also dementia friendly. It's the tenants themselves actually help us support to keep the garden nice. They have their own vegetable plots, they have their own greenhouse, they plant up all the planters, and they have lots of things happening out there. They have garden parties, their family can use it as well. If their grandchildren come to visit, they can go out and their grandchildren can have a shot on the play equipment, the exercise equipment is there. It makes it friendly because it all goes to a central point. Every corridor leads you to a central point. It leads you to the hub area. Tenants love that area, their hub area. They love when people come in and as they pass them by, they speak to them. They love the interaction with other family members. It is like a big giant family in here. The staff that have been here for since it opened, and they take such pride in the building, both the care staff, the domestic staff, the kitchen staff. We have a fantastic caretaker that actually manages to keep the building beautiful, and he also works with the tenants. You know, if the tenants want anything done in their flat, they just give him a wee shout and he'll go in and help them hang a picture and things. And so there's a real friendly vibe in the building.
Yeah, I'm Ronnie Bell. I'm the development manager at Shettleston Housing Association, and we're standing in the courtyard of Fernan Gardens. And Fernan Gardens, on the site of a former council social work site that had fallen derelict. Me personally, I love the shared space. The courtyard space works really well. People are sharing it. They're coming out into these wee terraces that we've provided. We originally planted them up with lavender and thyme, and I think about 50% of them have still just got the lavender and thyme in them. But other folk have, the other half has been planted up by the folk living in the flats, and they're kind of, as you can see, they've kept the place, pristine. It's testament to what they think of the place and the community that's kind of evolved here, amongst them, that they kind of look out for each other, they look out for, the shared spaces. At Christmas time, they put up, there's communal decorations in the closes and whatnot. It's just been really good, Oh yeah, well, it's East End, it's Shettleston, people are very sociable, very friendly, very outgoing. What would you like this time? Something kind of touching, kind of based with local history. Or kind of, they said, no, we really like the sofa that we'd got at phase one. Can we get a full suite made like that? So spoke to the guy and he said, well, that's a good idea. Why don't we do a coffee table and a television as well? Make it like a living room. And then at Christmas, when we put the tree up, the tree goes in the corner of the room. The development achieved silver standards in aspects 1 and 2 of the building regs, in terms of space heating and carbon emissions, which achieves that at the same time. It doesn't look as if there's gadgetry hanging from it. It's kind of well integrated. It's kind of unobtrusive.
I'm Alec Pearson. I'm a partner with Gary Adam, Chartered Architect. Currently we're in Old Orchard. Well, Old Orchard is an alternative method of development of residential housing which doesn't take the suburban model on board. It's trying to develop something more rich, more sense of community. It's not just a kind of typical cul-de-sac. The houses on it take cues from lots of different Scottish typologies, lots of kind of hints of residential properties. So the language that we established through the original planning proposal has been carried through and has been very successful when working with the clients to establish exactly what they wanted from their house. This language, based on history, based on other forms of buildings found in Scotland, was then extremely flexible when working with the clients to bring out what they wanted. There was a real discussion opened up between us and the clients as to what they wanted in particular. This has been carried through right the way through to construction, working well with the clients. Part of the strength of the language and the kind of customisation and the richness of Kirkton of Craig and the Old Orchard is the fact that the clients put their own stamp on the external appearance of the buildings, choosing their own landscaping methods, choosing their own finishes, in terms of cladding, in terms of the window design, in terms of the roof material. And you can see when looking at different images of the Old Orchard that the houses, none of the houses are the same, but they've got a similar sort of language, differentiated by the way that they've treated the landscaping, the way that they've treated the materials.
My name is Chris Murray. I'm the marketing manager for CCG Scotland Limited for the schoolhouse, which is based in Nidgermill, extension of Craigmillar Town Centre in Edinburgh. And our approach to this and for it was always for the local community of Nidgermill. To give a bit of background to the development, the site itself used to be the former Nidgermill Primary School, a Victorian building from the late 1800s. And through in-depth consultation for a period of between 5 and 6 months, CCG were challenged with the deliverability of a project that not only had to work as a contractor developer point of view, but something that was within the hearts and minds of the community, which was retention of the school. That wasn't able to happen, and what CCG did through a detailed design process and consultation with the community, of course, was the retention of the school facade through a an extensive construction programme which could have been fraught with problems. CCG managed to deliver a project that is not only stunning to look at, but is bespoke not only to the town of Craigmillar. One of the key elements that we managed to do, out with the retention of the school facade, was the retention of the history of the site. There's a weather cupola that's obviously in the roof. We managed to take that off, renovate it, and reinstall it to the building. And we also, for the first time, managed to open up the Wycop War Memorial for general workup. It was local to the town of Craigmillar, which was closed off when the school was operational. And again, from challenges that were brought by the facade retention, trying to preserve a historical landmark, again brought its challenges. But what we've managed to do is again invite the local community in. I think what we've got from our response in the local community is something that is brought back just the historical flavour of what the town of Craigmillar is, which is a proud town and proud of their history.
I'm Fiona Kyle, and I'm one of the trustees of the Iona Housing Partnership. We've created 5 amazing affordable homes for families who are living and working in the island to rent. Housing's a big issue in Iona. There's a lot of holiday houses which we need to keep the economy going, but for people that are living and working in the island, it was very difficult to get suitable accommodation long term. And a lot of families had left the island because they couldn't get accommodation. And it was really important that we had decent houses for people to live in, to keep the young ones here, to keep the young families in the island, to keep the island vibrant. We need families, we need children to keep the school going, so it was really important. There was a lot of thought put into the layout of the houses for families, so there's a lot of thought into like storage for their things. There was a lot of thought put into like for wet weather, people being out and about and come back in with wet wellies, dirty wellies, wet clothes and things. So a lot of thought was put into how they would function for families. And I think what we've achieved is fantastic houses that really do work. It's the design that I'm most proud of. I think they from the outside that they fit right into the area. They're not into the space that they're in. That they from the outside they look nice. They look good. They're not stand out like a sore thumb. And from the inside, I think that the design is fantastic. The space is fantastic for people. They're not small houses, so they've got enough space. So it's really the design.
Hello, I'm Eileen Doherty from the Wheatley Housing Group. I think this is a place where we've managed to maintain the existing character of the site with the mature trees around the perimeter. Give you that nice wee cocoon. Whilst you have views out to the main road, it's also cuts off the main road as well. If you look out your window, you're getting a lovely view of nature rather than a slightly more industrial feeling part of the north of Glasgow. Big challenges for the architect in the site where the slope, where we've got quite a steep slope down from the top of the site at Eriboll Street down to Balmore Road, and the architect has made a great job of meeting that challenge. The housing on Eriboll Crescent are kind of low-level housing to suit what's opposite, but they've also, again, this issue with the trees, we've kind of got the band of trees in front of it which are providing a kind of barrier between the existing properties and this house of kind of views through. One of the things that we tried to do with these houses was obviously meet the needs of the local area, so family housing was required, so we've got a mix of large family houses in the tall townhouses. We've got a kind of medium-sized family houses for maybe 5 or 6 people in the family, and the smaller houses for a 4-person family. But we've also got 2-person flats, and these are occupied generally by the elderly. We've got elderly amenity flats, and we've also got flats for people in wheelchairs, 5 of those. So there's a real mix through the site. I think one of the things that's helped with that is the play areas. We've got more formal play adjacent to the site, but one of the key features that we have is a kind of central play space that people can meet their neighbours. That's how I suppose you get to know people. Building the children's unit as well, it's an opportunity for the children in the children's unit to mix with other people within this community. And again, kind of less formal, kind of more natural play through the trees. We've got spaces through there for swinging and running for a woodland adventure.